LEGO Bionicle is one of the most missed LEGO themes ever, yet when there was a possibility for a return, it lost to a Kakapoo. But why? How did one of the best-selling LEGO lines ever went from treasure to being forgotten? Let's check that out. First off, we need a history lesson. The year is 1998. LEGO is having a bad time. They were in big trouble after a successful half-decade. Sales were dropping. LEGO was desperate to innovate, to create something new. Some say they did that too quickly. Themes like Galador, Jack Stone, City Center, starring their horrifying run, Snap copied next. It seemed LEGO was trying too desperate to differ itself from the classic system that they were made famous and trying to copy other brands to enter that market. Yet in that tremendous time of tribulation, a light came through. Dooheads. What? Like, do what? You see, LEGO needed a big independent theme. Like, they had Star Wars, but success only came after movie release. The Star Wars license wasn't paying itself off, so LEGO needed their own Star Wars to place in that demographic. But what? Dooheads, I mean Bionicle, they finally changed that stupid name. Bionicle would be a construction theme that allowed you to create your own hip and cool figure with a lot of big specialized theme that LEGO kind of became addicted at the time. But I would like to remind you guys to please subscribe like right now, as this video took a long time to produce. Special shout out to subscriber LEGO Brick for suggesting this video idea. If you want a shout out, be sure to comment on this video. Now, we need to address the complicated and convoluted Bionicle backstory. FYI, a backstory in this case is a fake and made up story they gave to a theme that went like this. On a tropical island called Mata Nui, 6 Toas, our hero, wash ashore in their Toa canisters. After building themselves up, they discovered their Konohoi masks and their elemental powers: fire, water, stone, earth, air, and ice.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
The Toa, named the Toa Mata, each meet the Turagoa, the elders of the village, or Nui for short, on Mata Nui. Eventually, they meet each other and discuss the next course of action. They begin to search their own 5 masks hidden on the island. So, do you get it? Cause I don't. Now, the names for the Toa were taken directly from the Maori culture, and they weren't happy that LEGO was doing that with their beliefs and using them as set naming. But LEGO quickly agreed to drop the names and create only original stuff from now on. Moving on, they encounter the dangerous Harihi animals which attack them during their quests, and learn about the Makuta Teridax, as the Toa called their masks. They heard of Kinik Nui to receive their golden kahuni, which gives their ability of all 6 masks in one, without the need to summon the other powers of the mask. The goal was to remove the masks of the opponent. Oh,
that one didn't age quite so well.
and there was a lot more that I don't even understand. Now, I have to address something, guys. As a kid, I never owned a Bionicle set. I wasn't into the thing, sorry guys, and so I missed on a lot of comics, books, and games that gave the backstory. There was more backstory supposed to come out on the Legend of Mata Nui game. Now, I made the LEGO Iceberg video which discusses that, so you should definitely check that out below the like button. Every version of media had an incomplete backstory, meaning you had to get another comic or game to see the full story. The early buildings were much more technique-y, if you know what I mean. 2002, it's time for Wave 2 Electrical Boogaloo. The Tia find the islands once again in peril after lock-like creatures named Borok.
Shut up. Okay, well anyway, I went to see Vin Diesel, the pacifier, and I said, the pacifier? More like Bor Ragnarok. Am I right, guys?
But over time, the line expanded a lot. A new set and even more complicated backstory that I still don't get came true. But there was a problem. As Bionicle expanded, LEGO also expanded. By that I mean they were achieving success they never saw before Bionicle in other lines like City, which is a really important thing. They stopped with the big large pieces, trend and stuff. System became the go-to system again for LEGO. It was the face of LEGO again. Yes, Bionicle saved LEGO, but its peak was its eventual downfall. You see, many younglings that grew up with Bionicle moved on, and new fans like myself didn't understand the brand overlap of the LEGO themes. So sales started dropping around 2006. They announced that they would be discontinuing Bionicle by 2010. That was the last year. What a banger year to say goodbye. But Bionicle fans were not happy. They would do anything to make Bionicle again. The backstory of Bionicle continued. The theme to utilize Bionicle Pieces Hero Factory was the theme I grew up with. But there is a but here. LEGO never moved on for Bionicle. Plans for a continuation were made basically after its cancellation. Work on a reboot for Bionicle began in 2012. Matt Bettercare, who was a junior designer at Hero Factory, was promoted to senior designer for the project. The theme's comeback was announced on September of 2014, with the first wave of sets being revealed at the New York Comic Con. Dubbed Generation 2 by fans, Gen 2, the new storylines feature some of the premise of the original, although at a much smaller form, and Bionicle fans' dream came true. But there were problems. Now, they were back, yes! It was cancelled 2 years later. Many said the prices were getting higher and higher. The villains were boring. Now many also point out that the story was meh and it retconned everything. To keep it simple now, I am stupid man, so I understand the decision, but this upset many fans. There was even an animated short on the internet, but the story started to get convoluted and complicated and even contradictory again. Also, there was a lack of advertising by LEGO, as they expected to be done by the old Twittery dudes and the Instagram dudes, as adults like to say. Unfortunately, it was too late. Bionicle failed because it wasn't targeting towards anyone. Kids were weirded out as they understood LEGO as a different thing, and also they were a little too expensive for them. LEGO changed for the better, but Bionicle was left behind. Old fans complained about the new story and lack of originality towards the theme. Bionicle failed because of us, but fans didn't lose hope again. Meanwhile, the year was 2019. A LEGO Ideas member had a dream that afternoon. His dream was to make Bionicle again, and his name was Sokoda. Due to LEGO Ideas rules, he had to make LEGO Bionicle with system pieces. The project reached the necessary 10k, but it was not approved by LEGO. But then, a light of hope came. LEGO decided to revitalize the design for a brickn'it exclusive submission. The projects needed to reach a milestone of sales, and Bionicle didn't. They lost to a Kakapo. Now, I wanted to buy many of the sets, but unfortunately, LEGO's stupid and they don't want me to spend my money because they don't ship to Brazil. Yes, I can't buy that set legally. If I try to send it to someone else, LEGO cancels the order, so I couldn't buy it. And I hope LEGO changes that by the finals because I want to buy some of these. Yes, so I couldn't get any of them. So yes, Bionicle lost to a Kakapo. My personal speculation is that the price was too high, which caused a lack of interest toward Bionicle fans, and LEGO fans in general were unwilling to support LEGO Bionicle as they were interested in the castle set. I don't wanna end this video on a low note, but there is still hope because LEGO Bionicle is never gonna give you up.